Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube. You can even find me on Instagram and TradingView. One word, Crypto Bull God. I hope everyone is having a nice day today. Market sentiment right now is very blah, 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 blah. But I think no matter what is going on in the markets, I view my responsibility to keep you very informed in terms of the charts to keep an eye on. And it's also your responsibility as well, even on days like today, to be on top of things. I understand right now there's not a lot of excitement. I still firmly believe that that's going to change on a dime, and this month is going to be... What's up, Kathleen? Glad to have you in. I think that will change on a dime, and June is going to turn out to be a bullish month. I continue to say that, and until proven otherwise, we still have 17 days to go, which is a long time in the crypto market. I had a few opening thoughts that I wanted to share with you today. You know, I was actually... I'm actually fortunate that I'm able to live stream with you today. We had some pretty serious thunderstorms here in South Florida and lost power there for a bit. A little frustrated. I had some stuff I was in the middle of at work and just everything went dead. So couldn't really finish the last hour and a half of my day. So I got to make up that time later this evening. But I had a few thoughts that I wanted to share with everyone today before we kind of get into the charts today. By the way, there will be plenty of time for TA Q&A, so feel free. Any charts that you'd like me to take a look at, some of them I may be already planning on evaluating, but any charting questions that you have, I'm very happy to address those. So a couple quick, like I said, opening thoughts before we get into some technical analysis here and evaluate the charts. The first is something that's becoming increasingly apparent to myself is... I am looking forward to the day when I can focus more on this and more of my time is in the crypto community. I am a full-time practicing actuary. At some point, I would like my career to go in a different direction and to spend my time a little bit differently than I do today. Spending a little bit more time on the technicals, as well as doing a lot of collaborations with others in the community who I respect, and even quite possibly spending time having special guests on talking about fundamentals and developing some good rapport with others in the community and really building something out of this channel. And it's just something I've been really thinking about a lot. The other thing I wanted to spend a little bit of time quick mentioning for everybody out there who is an XRP supporter like myself, a supporter of Ripple, and what they're going after, I really want you to remain level-headed here, okay? I'm starting to see some tweets surface here concerning what I would call unrealistic expectations in terms of what will happen if, hopefully, Ripple wins the lawsuit. Of course, there's a lot of different angles that lawsuit could take. But at the end of the day, if it's an extremely positive outcome for Ripple, which I do feel positive about, I just want to tell you right now that it is highly improbable that once these things are announced, that XRP is just going to skyrocket up to $5, $10, $15, $20, or $100. Okay. The charts tell everything that we need to speak about when it comes to rates of appreciation in an asset. When a news event like that drops, and it could potentially be monumental positive news for the XRP token as well as Ripple, the token's not going to pull a 10 or 20x. It's not going to happen. I just want to state that right now. We can come back and you can laugh at me if I'm wrong, but you need to be realistic. There's a lot of people out there that I'm just seeing some really unrealistic tweets about levels of prices. So let's keep things real. The last thing I wanted to quick comment on, just surrounding a lot of the lawsuits going on with Gary Gensler. As you know, I put out a video entitled Gary Tyrant Fucktard Gensler. And I've put some funny content out there, and it's funny, not funny, and I'm trying to interject some humor into the space in my own creative way. But I want to keep things real for a moment and just kind of speak to the fact that really what's going on right now, ultimately, you have a lot of people on major news outlets like a Jim Cramer, who it's very apparent that they speak to these technologies and have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, right? And it's very obvious that Gary Gensler has hidden motives in terms of why he's doing what he's doing. We no one can say for sure why he's doing what he's doing, but when you evaluate the videos from just a few years ago and then you evaluate his stance today, I mean, it's very obvious that he's being disingenuous at the very least, and that's being kind. Do not allow that to shake you or deter you. This technology isn't going anywhere. I've been in this space for a very long time. I am a very logical and sensical individual. Else, I always say this, as corny as I might come across sometimes, there's no way I could be a practicing FSA if I wasn't intelligent and I was not logical and sensical. There's just no way. It's impossible to pass those exams and be successful in this career field without being that. And so coming from that place in life, I just want to share with you that there's way too much innovation in this space and there's way too much promise moving forward to get shaken out in a time like this. And I hope that no one here is getting shaken out. And I understand that during a difficult time like this, if you're not well versed in the field, it can seem really scary. And while there is a lot of uncertainty for many years out, I still feel extremely convicted in terms of where things are appreciating in value in the shorter term. And in the longer term also, I feel quite confident in stating that there are a lot of true, innovative crypto projects out there, digital asset projects out there that are going to completely revolutionize the way that we do business. Don't allow legacy news outlets and people like a Jim Cramer, people like an Elizabeth Warren, people who are completely out of touch with reality. They obviously are disingenuous. They obviously have political biases that interject and find their ways into the way that they narrate things. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we have leaders in a position that choose to operate in this fashion. But I would encourage you to fight in whatever way that you can fight and stand alongside those people in the community to stand up against tyrants like this. There's no time like the present to be more unified than today. Don't be a Bitcoin maximalist. Don't be an XRP maximalist. Don't be an Ethereum maximalist. Understand that there are many innovative forms of technology in the cryptocurrency space that were spurred by Bitcoin, but there are many other assets outside of Bitcoin that also hold a lot of promising technology, a lot of teams that have worked very hard on these projects. And a lot of the things going on it's just unfortunate right now that there's a narrative being painted the way it is. So I think a lot of this stuff's going to get cleaned up and cleared up over the years here. But just remain patient, remain level-headed here. Believe me, my conviction in this space has not teetered one bit, and I want to make that very, very clear. All right, so with that being said, on a more serious note, I had some things to share with you. And I am enjoying this evening, I don't know what the hell this is. I think this might be a Bordeaux. A Bordeaux. Mike, God, I haven't talked to Mike in a long time. Mike got a little weird on me. I think it has to do with his wife, but we're not going to go into Mike and his wife. I don't know what the hell's going on there. But anyway, my one buddy who I haven't seen in a long time, probably because of his weird wife, he likes Bordeaux. So just thinking of Mike. All right, let's get into Bitcoin. I'm going to pull, as you can see, I haven't had an opportunity to really pull up a lot of charts here. GameStop, real quick. This was something we took a look at a while ago. You can see GameStop is in a falling wedge, and it's in a bull flag, arguably. Starting to look like it's breaking out. This is a 2-week chart. If this thing closes above here, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with GameStop. I had indicated to you guys this was one stock, along with Coinbase, I was considering establishing a position in. I said I was waiting for it to come back down into this area. As you can see, we did come back down into this area towards about $17. I didn't pull the trigger. I don't own any, full disclosure, but Very interesting to see what will play out here. Again, we took a look at this, I want to say, maybe it was back in here in November, December. Keep me honest here. I don't know if anybody remembers, but we did pull back to this bottom trend line here. Now we're starting to, look like we might want to break out. So keep an eye on GameStop if you're into stocks. All right, let's take a look at the market. You can see the market's just kind of like blah right now. But I don't want everyone to lose sight of something. I'm also going to share a chart that I really appreciated. Somebody who I follow on Twitter and someone who I'm actually hoping to get on the live stream at some point had charted out. I think he did a really nice job, so we're going to talk about that. This is the 12-hour. We're still in a falling wedge. We can look at this on a 2-day. We can look at this on a 3-day. There's bullish divergence here. We're on the falling wedge. Not much has changed here. We'll have to see how this plays out. Not a lot of new information to report on Bitcoin, but one of the things that I want to point you to here, let's go to this chart that I was talking about. You know, a lot of people, I think a lot of people are, some people who are a little bit more, in some senses, in tune with the market, but then in some senses not in tune with the reality of positive correlation that exists between the stock market, the equity market, and the crypto market, are getting a little salty over the fact that Bitcoin has been going sideways. And NASDAQ and the S&P and Dow, they're continuing to push up, right? Those indices, we actually just took a look at those yesterday. The indices in the equity markets are continuing to push up, while Bitcoin and crypto are just going sideways and even correcting. It's like, what the fuck is going on, right? And what I've tried to reiterate yesterday was that while there's a lag in recognition and appreciation in the crypto market right now, history tells us that these things are positively correlated. They tend to move in the same direction. Let's fucking go, Josh. They go in the same direction. Just because they don't move at the same time doesn't mean that crypto's not going to run if the NASDAQ and the S&P are running hard and they're creating new all-time highs, right? And I think that if you're not following this individual on crypto Twitter, make sure to give him a follow. This is Tony the Bull. You can see his handle here, Tony the Bull BTC. I think he does and his account has grown quite a bit. I remember he only had about a couple thousand followers. He's already up to 8,000, and deservingly so. He puts out a lot of good charts. But in the meantime, what I wanted to point out here, and you can read his tweet here, all of crypto Twitter right now is saying, Bitcoin is showing such weak correlation with the NASDAQ. Meanwhile, and look what he does here. He zooms out on a higher time frame. Remember, that was one of the other aspects that I hit on yesterday. I said, when in doubt, zoom out. It's one of the most important things that you can do during a period like this. You're trying to discern what's going on, right? Saturday was a rough day for a lot of people, probably emotionally and mentally, right? You're seeing altcoins down 20, 30%, right? And you're wondering what the hell is going on, right? And what I tried to get you to do yesterday was to focus on some key crypto charts and some stock charts as well, some equity charts, because those things are positively correlated at the end of the day, reminding you that when it is a risk-on atmosphere, which we're starting to accelerate into, crypto is going to see some strong benefits from that and out-appreciate the equity markets because history says so, okay? So until proven otherwise, history says so. And we focused on higher time frame charts. Look at what this individual here says, Tony the Bull. Meanwhile, the correlation coefficient remains at a very strong 0.85 positive correlation on the monthly chart. So the key thing we don't need to go into the 0.85. Let's just stick to the basics and put this in layman's terms. What he's saying is there's still a positive correlation that exists between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ that he's going to point out in this chart, which I'm going to share. It's very highly positively correlated. And he's zooming out on a monthly. Notice he's not looking at a daily chart. He's not looking at even a weekly chart. He's looking at a monthly. Now, the golden line, okay, the golden line is Bitcoin. And the black line here, okay, the black line is the NASDAQ. And it looks like he's showing the correlation here. But for the meantime, let's really just focus. I just want you to focus on this section right here, okay? This section right in here, okay? And you can see what he's pointing to here. Sometimes while there's a lag in recognition, Couple things he's actually pointing to when this correlation is as high as it is, we've actually seen some huge runs in Bitcoin, and that's one of the things he's pointing out here. But the other thing to point out is sometimes there's a lag in recognition when the NASDAQ is actually moving and Bitcoin's just going sideways. Look at late, and again, it's interesting because I have repeatedly, okay, even though things are kind of in these first 13 days have not gone, according to how I thought they would go, I keep stressing to you we have 17 days to go to complete the month, right? And I have reiterated to you consistently on this channel that the time period we're at very much reminds me of September, October 2020. And what happened in September and October of 2020? We went sideways, and then we started to shoot up in value. And Bitcoin was the first one to move. Bitcoin was the one that started to escalate in value, followed by Ethereum, and then followed by your altcoins, okay? Look at this time period right here, which was September, October of 2020. You can see look at the NASDAQ sharply moving up here. That's the black line. Look at Bitcoin. It's just consolidating in here. And then all of a sudden it caught up and it appreciated at a higher value than NASDAQ. Right now, you can see, look at this positive correlation here. See the correction, how they both correct? Well, right now, look, this is, I mean, to me as a data scientist, this is very fascinating to me. You see how the gold and black line, I wish you guys were in a room with me and I could draw on a whiteboard with you. You see how the gold and black lines are very close together, okay? Similar to right here in this V-shaped recovery. Well, all of a sudden, similar to here, there's a divergence. The NASDAQ has continued to increase in value, but look at Bitcoin. It's slightly down and it's consolidating, a divergence that's very similar to what we saw here. The NASDAQ continued to move up, and Bitcoin just consolidated. Mind you, it was consolidation slightly up, and here it's slightly down, but it's still the same point that I'm making here. Thumbs up if you appreciate the content. And what we're showing also with this high positive correlation here at 0.85, the correlation coefficient, the main thing to take away from that is every time we've had, it looks like a level that's high up here, we've seen monumental moves in the price. You can see when the correlation coefficient was all the way up here, a huge run in price, not as high here when we took a run here, but you can see up here when the correlation coefficient got up into this area around 0.85, you can see a big run in price. Even here, we saw a big run in price back here. And that's what he's denoting with these black arrows. So again, these, and I really appreciated this chart. I reached out to him actually and sent him a message to let him know I was going to share this on the live stream. These are the kind of value-added charts. I've spoken to Tech Dev plenty of times, Tech Dev 52, who puts a lot of value-added charts together. I really appreciate the individuals in this space who put out solid content like this. What they're doing is they're looking in the past, okay? And they are attempting to weed out similarities and things that have occurred in the past and saying, all right, well, this is occurring today. And again, we have limited price data. We only have how many years of price data here? 11, 12, 13, 15 years of price data. This has occurred in the past 3 or 4 times. Every time the 3 or 4 occurrences that this has occurred, here's what happens, okay? And we're hitting in this case, our 4th example in this case of this occurring. All we can do is rely on the past performance to say, well, we've been 3 for 3 here, and what's happened? Will we be 4 for 4, right? Really appreciated this view. I thought this would be something interesting to take a look at, and I hope that made sense to you. Now, with that being said, we've spoken about Bitcoin. We've spoken about the equity markets enough. What I want to do is I want to get into some altcoins because I know you guys have questions, I'm sure, about Cardano, about XRP, about Solana, Cardano. And feel free, any altcoins that you would like me to take a look at, feel free to drop them into the comments and we can take a look at them. So here, you can see on Cardano, and we spoke about this before we had this big breakdown in price on Saturday. A couple things I will point out on Cardano. I said 30 cents needs to hold because if 30 cents doesn't hold, and this will be interesting, let's take a look at this. Almost. I was interested to see I would actually draw it like this. I was interested to see. Oh, what's up, Nick? Glad to see you in the live stream. I was interested to see if we actually backtested this downward area of resistance. Let's get off the price indicators. Let's just focus on price data. But I had indicated before we got that huge volatility on Saturday that if 30 cents broke, there was a high likelihood we could go as low as around 20 and a half cents. Look what happened. Price went all the way down to 22 cents, close enough to 20 cents, right? Because again, this isn't rocket science. I'm not pulling, this isn't magic at being a technical analyst. What we're doing is we're looking for areas of price confluence. And what I identified based on historical price data here is, look, 30 cents is a major area of historical support, price confluence. And the fact that we're above it should act as support. If we break below it, there is a heightened risk, okay, to the downside that we could go as low as 20 cents. So interesting, we went all the way to 22 cents, right? So really for Cardano, we got to make up a lot of progress here. This weekly candle closed all the way down here. Now, what Cardano is doing is hanging out around here. Here's what I'd like to see for Cardano. Now, I've commented on this on Twitter that my belief still is that on a 2-week candle closing basis, and more so on the monthly, we're going to see a lot of long wicks. I think especially given still what I view as June being a very bullish month. I think your June monthly candlesticks, you're going to see a lot of volatility wicks, right? A lot of wicks that came all the way down here and end up closing way higher. So if we look at a monthly, for instance, on Cardano, I think this wick is going to be a lot longer for the month of June. We will come back and we will take a look at this on month close, but it would not shock me if the wick was all the way up at 30 cents or even 35 cents. Would not shock me one bit. But focusing on more of the immediate, this is a 2-week chart, okay? And what I'd like to see from Cardano, what I really want to see is by Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's when we're going to get our weekly closing candle, as well as this 2-week candle body close. And what I want to see is a close right at and above 30 cents. That is what I want to see on Cardano. So that's what I would look for on Cardano. Let's take a look at Solano. Since we took a look at Cardanzo. You know what? I honestly just said Solano without even meaning to say Solano. Jim Cramer is having a really bad influence on me. We're going to take a look at Solana, and then I see a few questions coming in here from Nick. Nick, I appreciate the questions because there's not a lot of questions right now. The market is very dull. The market is very dull and dry. All right. So we had a little bit of a fake out here. Couldn't maintain ourselves above this descending resistance. You can see on the price indicators, MACD looks like it might want to close down. This is on the weekly. RSI, again, there's not momentum in this thing. We spoke about this yesterday. We looked at Bitcoin. We looked at Ethereum. We looked at total market cap on several different charts. Whether we were looking at total 2, total 3, total minus total 3, just looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the bottom line when we looked at price indicators was the main takeaway was just not a lot of momentum right now. We need those stochastic RSIs to start kicking up, crossing positive, getting above 20. Got a lot of RSIs at 40 or below. And we're seeing the same thing here, right? RSIs at 38. So we're definitely oversold here. Now, the good thing for Solana right now is we've maintained ourselves. There's a key area of price confluence, it looks like I've marked around $14.50. So right now, we've maintained ourselves above that level. There's more strength being expressed at the moment in Solana relative to Cardano. Okay, why do I say that? Because we actually hit a new low here relative to our bottom in December, right? We wicked all the way to 22 cents when here we bottomed at 24. And you can see, and we also closed below this key area of price confluence. You can see that this low is much lower, much higher than $8 here, right? So we're seeing still as much weakness as there is, okay, and this region is the high that we need to break above. You can still see that we have these higher lows coming in for Solana. So that's good to see. I really want to see this region maintain itself. this region specifically on Solana, the key price area you want to look for, let's not lose this region. Let's not lose 1450 to 1230. Okay, let's just call it 1450 to 12 bucks, right? Don't start losing 12 bucks, because if you start losing $12, what do you think I'm going to say? I would actually put another area of price confluence right there, approximately. But really, if you start losing $12, and it's not coincidental too, because $10 is a psychological level. You can see this area of price confluence I drew right here is at it's at 10 bucks. All right, we're gonna draw that in at 10. That's also an area of psychological level. So if we start breaking 12, you're talking about, I mean, what you're really entertaining is an area between 780 and 10 bucks. So let's hold that $12 level. I'd love to see it maintain 1450 though. That would express even more strength. And then it's all about coming back up here and breaking. It's really 27 bucks. We need to see Solana express some strength, break the downward resistance definitively. We need some sort of move up to break 27. Start heading towards like 36 bucks, and then we can start to come down and back test and continue up. That's really what you want to see from Solana at the end of the day. So let's see what questions we have, because I know in yesterday's live stream, didn't have an opportunity to get to your questions because I covered so many charts. So I definitely want to take an opportunity and see what you got. Okay, what do we got here? DYDX. DYDX. Isn't that the DXY? Do you mean the DXY? Nick, DYDX. I don't even know what the hell the DYDX is, to be honest with you. What the hell is the DYDX? Either you mean the DXY or I should know. I feel like I should know what that means, to be honest. This is an index. DYDX. No. What the hell's the difference between... What the hell's the difference, Nick? What the hell is the difference between DYDX and just the total crypto market cap? Because we took a look at the... 2x the exchange volume, then you swap, and it's 12x away from its. I hope you're having a great. I'm having a good day. I've had a good day until the end of my work day, and then the internet power went out. My internet cut out from work. Yeah, we're gonna have to revisit this chart because I'm honestly not sure what I should be evaluating here. It's a project. Sorry, brother. It's a project. Are you sure? DYDX. I don't see what DYDX. Get the fuck out of here. No, it's not a project. It's an index. All right, let's. Okay, well, I guess it's a project. We're gonna chart it out. All right, let's take a look at DYDX. Sorry about that, brother. By the way, I'll get back to you on DM because we need to hook up. I know you're back from your work vacation, and we need to hook up live. So I want to get back to you on that because actually this week would be good for me if you're available. All right, actually this week or next week, to be honest with you, because I don't have anything going on. I'm going to be traveling in a couple weeks, but this week and next week are good for me, so I'll reach out to you. All right, so let's take a look at DYDX. There's an area of support right around 114. That's the first thing. The first thing I want to look at here is what we're going to do is where are there areas of support? Now, this is on a 2-weekly. Let's take a look at a weekly. There's not a lot of price data here, so we're going to look at DYDX on the weekly. Now, based on that, one interesting thing, real quick, tidbit of information just from a learning perspective. When you look at this on the 2-week, you see how this is valid? This is through right on the bottom of the candle bodies through a wick, Watch what happens when we change the time frame to a lower time frame, to a 1 week. You see how this is invalid? The reason it's invalid on a weekly is because this line here, I'm drawing it through the candle bodies. You can't do that, okay? You can't draw lines of support and resistance through candle bodies. This would be appropriate at 112, okay? So just a little bit of tidbit of information there. If you follow people for technical analysis and they're drawing, areas of price confluence through a lot of candle bodies, you might want to reconsider who you're following. All right, this Debatable exactly where you want to draw this, but this is another area of price confluence. So right between what I would say first when looking at the DYDX is there's an area of price confluence right between 112 and 114. That's an area that you definitely want to see hold, okay? The alternative scenario that, could play out depending on the weakness in the market, you could come down for some sort of double bottom at $1, okay? But for right now, what's good to see, we have a low here and we have a higher low. So that, again, as weak, and I reiterated this yesterday, as weak as the market is, you wanna stay level-headed and focus on what the most important critical things are. And on a higher time frame chart, one of the things you should be looking for is bullish structure. Bullish structure, and as I always say, the basic building blocks to a bullish narrative are higher highs and higher lows, right? So we have higher lows, which is good to see. Now, areas of resistance, where are we gonna run into some problem spots, okay? Actually, the first thing I would draw here is there is some descending resistance, okay? So we have an area of descending resistance. You can see the touches. I like drawing this because we have multiple touches. In fact, I might actually just get a little bit more cute and draw something like that. So I get a touch here, and then multiple touches. We have 5 touchies, okay? Now, areas of resistance. Let's check this out. So where we're also going to run into some problem spots here, clear area. I would draw it more like, again, we don't need to get too cute. And again, I reiterate on this channel that it's about zones of resistance really at the end of the day. Clearly, these 2 wicks here express that there's going to be some area of price confluence there. And again, I don't want to get too cute with this. I would just draw it all the way up there. So major zones of resistance that I would be focused on, and you can kind of reshift these lines a little bit, but major, I'm getting a little hung up here, but I might draw it like that. So major areas of resistance that we would look for here, about 240 to 273. There's basically a zone. I would call this a zone of resistance right in here once we clear the descending resistance here, okay? About 240 to 273. Once we clear 273, yeah, you can get a little more cute. You can draw a few more areas in here. You could draw something, something like that. You're going to have 320 and 367 as other areas of resistance. That's what I would focus on. All right, let's get to a few other questions. What's up, Jorge? What you doing? Okay, let's see. DYDX Link. Okay, Nick, I'm glad you asked about Link. Let's check out, I just looked at that the other day. Link's one of these ones that's been building bullish divergence for the past over a year. And you can see, okay, so you might say to me, hey, CBG, you, first off, we got to change green is for support, red is for resistance, right? We broke down below 562. Again, weakness in the market. Really want to maintain ourselves above this 420 area. Now, again, this is expressing, again, more weakness relative to Cardano. Why do I say that? Because the lows we created here all the way back a year ago, they were taken out. We created a new low. Now, is the bullish divergence on the weekly, maybe I can even zoom in on a 2-week here to condense price action. No, keep it on the weekly. Is the bullish divergence void? Because I have an arrow drawn like this, and you can see we went below it. No, it's not. The point of bullish divergence is the RSI increasing, okay, as price is declining? And in some cases, which was in this case, it's just going sideways, okay? Well, the RSI, you can see down here we were at 32 when price was all the way up here at like $7, and now the RSI is at 36 and price is all the way down here at $5. So no, the RSI is still we still have bullish divergence on the RSI. So that is still valid on Chainlink. The big thing with Chainlink is that we broke down below, I would just call it 560, 550. Okay, because this was such a major area of support, you can see we held above it. The main thing for Chainlink that it needs to do is it needs to restore some strength by getting and closing above on a weekly basis around 560. Okay, once we do that, Then again, the main area, you can draw other areas in here, but I'm not really interested in that. You can see all these wicks here. I'm really interested up towards this 950 area. Of course, once you start pushing up towards 950, you're also talking about $10 being a psychological level. So I really want to see for some strength to come back into this chart, get above 560, and then we need to see a push. Again, I'm talking candle body closes, not wicks. Get above this 950 to 10 zone. Then we can start talking about other areas of price confluence up towards 20 bucks. So we have quite a bit of work to do on Chainlink. And again, I want to stress, once these markets move, they fucking move. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to take a look at the graph real quick. I was just taking a look at that, actually. So what I had done, full disclosure, what I had done, I own both the graph and I own, as you know, the Holy Crypto Trinity. I reshifted some positions between the graph and mana. I had tweeted out that I shifted around some positions. It's not because I don't believe in the graph. I just think it's too advantageous on mana right now. It's more advantageous in the graph that I just shifted a small position. I want to say 10%. I think I swapped 10% of my graph holding and put it into Decentraland mana. You can see here on the graph, again, the important thing to keep in mind, let's get off the price indicators because we all know it's weak. The important thing to keep in mind with the graph is we are expressing a lot of strength. As much weakness as there is in price, we're still expressing a lot of strength because we got our low down here and we have our higher low all the way up here. I mean, the graph was all the way down here at 5 cents. Now we're all the way up here at 9 cents, okay? So really for me, and there's another zone right here I would draw. Right here. I really want to see for the graph an area hold right between 8.5. We're going to call it just 8.5 and round it. 8.5 to 9 cents. I want to see this area hold around 8.5 to 9 cents. Okay. And then it's all about, again, as long as we can consolidate in this region, it's all about breaking this descending resistance, and then I've already laid out other areas of resistance, 17 cents, 13 cents, 12. I think once more, and you can see, I mean, you know, there is a wick here. You can also draw another area of resistance right there at this high. This high here was at 23. We're just going to call it 23 cents. Around 23 cents, okay? So there is another area at 23 cents, but once we start breaking out above 23 cents, I believe that 35 to 56 cents is going to come very, very quickly. So we will have to keep an eye on that. So that is what I see on the graph. Nick, I'm sort of selecting certain projects that you're tweeting here because they're tweeting. Oh my God, I'm on Twitter too much. Just because there's so many, I'm not going to have time to look at all of them. But keep an eye on this project. Incredible volume and revenue reports versus other DEXs, and with the SEC targeting centralized exchanges, I think it could be a big narrative. I will keep that in mind, and I wish I could give you an emoji, but that is not, for some reason, Twitter stopped allowing me to do that. Appreciate it, Nick. I'm going to take a look at it because I definitely value your opinions. I mean, you're the main person who had me take a look at Casper, which I own, which I am invested in. I owned a decent amount of it, actually. All right, let's see what else you got here. Filecoin, I took a look at that recently. I'll skip that one. Let's take a look at, I think that's synthetics. I haven't charted this one in a long time. This one will be interesting. I have not charted this in a long time. Okay, we know what the price indicators are going to tell us. I have a zone of resistance painted up here. I also have, and this is on the weekly, by the way. We're looking at a weekly. I have an area of downward resistance that I would personally chart. I would do it like that. Okay, so we have an area of downward resistance here. You can see on synthetics. We have an area of support. I'd like to see this area hold, Nick, right around, I would actually draw it just like that. It's an area of support right around 166. Okay, so around 160. Okay, again, As weak as price is right now, what's good to see if you own synthetics, what do you think I'm going to say? There's a low here. We bounced all the way up here, and now we have a higher low, right? It hasn't pulled a Cardano. It hasn't pulled a chain link where we set a new low. So in some respects, what I would say is this chart, based on that alone, does have a higher degree of strength because we have the higher lows coming in, right? So we're just waiting for that bounce up to break this descending resistance and come up and take out this high here. Again, I could point out several areas of resistance, but I think the main thing to point out on this chart, we wicked all the way up to this we're going to call it 340 area. Let's just call it 340. Really what we're going to have to do is express some strength to break the downward resistance, punch through 340. As soon as we punch through 340 on synthetics, SNX, ticker symbol SNX, there's really a zone between 340 and 440. 340 and 440 is going to provide us an area of difficulty. Once we get a candle body close on 440, let's reevaluate the chart, Nick. You can come back and ask me questions on this chart. There's going to be other areas of confluence up towards 5, right in between 5 and 6, about 550. We could talk about other areas of price confluence. But for now, let's break through that 340 to 440 area with a candle body close. This red zone resistance is going to be difficult. So we need to punch through that. It's going to express a lot of strength in this chart once we can get a candle body close above 440. That's going to express a lot of strength on this chart. All right, what other questions? I will take one more charting question. The question is, did you buy the dip? Fuck yeah, did I buy the dip? I did a couple things. So, yes, I bought the dip. There's not a question about that. But what I did a little bit differently this time than what I might do with some other corrections is because some of these corrections were so deep and some of these charts, to me, there were certain charts that looked more attractive than others. I repositioned some of my portfolio. I think the ones that I commented on, and we'll take a look at Quant as the last chart here. I think the ones that I've commented on are Decentraland Mana. I would also comment the Sandbox. I think the metaverse is just going to still be a monumentally huge narrative. And I think that the more, here's something I would hit on. It was also Alchemy Pay, by the way, because I have a larger position in Alchemy Pay. Let me just say that. I won't say how big, but a larger position. I think one of the things that can really benefit your portfolio is to make sure that based upon how you are diversifying your investment portfolio, make sure to have certain narratives present within your portfolio. Whether you're talking about a store of value, hopefully you all have Bitcoin. You have a store of value. Maybe you have some layer 1s, layer 2s. You have some payment remittance plays, and I think you know where I'm going with that. You have some metaverse plays. You have some AI plays. Hell, have a meme coin play. I think the one thing that my portfolio is missing, is a meme play. I don't have a meme play at the moment. By the way, Nick, you're commenting on ACH. Let's have a conversation real quick before I get to your other question. I want to chart ACH with you guys because Nick is bringing up something interesting, and I want to comment on this. I think that there is obviously a possibility for anything. As you always know, I don't guarantee a single damn thing. But if I had to point out a line on this chart that I think is quite possible, and it's interesting, I took away my buy zones because it was just muddying up the waters on the chart. My bottom buy zone was down here at this 1.46 cents. I think it is very possible, especially depending on the weakness, that we could roll over one last time and we could hit 1.46 cents. The other interesting thing, Nick, and others who are interested in this play, if you take a look at the fib retracement level from the bottom of the move to the top, okay? This is something very common. We're just going to do an approximate here. This is something also I was taking a look at. It brings us right down to this 1.5 cent area on the 0.618 fib retracement level. So one of the things that a lot of chartists really look at, once we have a strong movement up, what we like to do is what a lot of chartists like to do, I don't do it all the time, I do it sometimes, okay, and I'll explain why. You measure from the bottom of the move up to the top of the move, and this is approximate, we're not getting cute here. And we see that the 0.618 fib retracement level, which is a common Fibonacci, it's called the golden Fibonacci retracement level. A lot of traders look at this, okay? It's very common that we can retrace all the way down to the 0.618, and Nick is very correct in even saying the 0.786. I would not rule something out. I also have the 0.702, which is a level in between the 0.618 and 0.786, which is also common within some charts. But the main area I'm looking at is 0.618. The thing that I really like about fib retracement levels is when I draw a fib retracement level like this, and when I see a golden pocket, the 0.618 in this example, okay, let's see if we can get this more exact. When I see the 0.618 and it lines up with other areas of price confluence, in this case, I can see a wick going up here towards 1.5 cents. I see some wicks down here. Really, to me, what this chart is suggesting to me, and to Nick's point, here's what I would say, Nick, and anyone else who is invested in this or looking to increase their position. I would say I own a significant amount of Alchemy at this point, but I would consider increasing my position if we get down to this area. This, to me, and if you go back to my TA videos and you go back to where my golden pocket was, this area all the way down here at 0.146 was the bottom of my pocket. If we get down to this level, I will consider putting even more into this, okay? This would be an area, in my opinion, and never financial advice, never, I can't reiterate this enough. No one could ever come at me and say I offer financial advice because I say this in every damn video. Never financial advice. In my opinion, okay, if I was looking to establish a position or increase my position, this is a heavy buy zone area. 1.46 to 1.53. This is a very buy heavy zone. Now, could we fall lower to Nick's point? Could we come all the way down here to 0.702 at 1.3 cents, or all the way down towards a closer psychological level at a penny, which is at this 0.786 area? Absolutely, that's a possibility. I don't view it as probable, but I view it as a possibility. Absolutely. I would call those, it's probably not in the exact spirit of it. There are things, and I've spoken about on this channel before, you can put in orders called fishing orders. Fishing orders are where you put a buy limit at an area you really don't think it's going to hit, but if it hits it, God damn it, you're in good, you struck gold, right? I think a true fishing order would be something down in this area. But if you put, actually that would be at the area you're talking about, maybe something down. Yeah, buy a fishing order. If I put in a fishing order, what I'm doing is I'm putting in a buy limit order to say if we hit anywhere in this zone that's basically at a penny or lower, and we get an extreme amount of volatility, which in this industry is very common. If we get an extreme amount of volatility and you see a huge wick come down here, I have a buy limit order to say anything at a penny, 0.009 cents, 0.008 cents, I'm buying it. Now, just keep in mind, when you put a buy limit order in, if the price doesn't hit the exact level, you're not going to buy your buy limit order won't execute. So make sure not to put it at a psychological level. If you think it's going to hit a penny, don't put in a buy limit order for 1 cent. Put in a limit order for 1.3 cents or 1.2 cents, okay? You want to front run the other people getting in at those levels. So keep that in mind. I'm glad you brought that up, Nick. I do remember you saying that about quant. So we're going to take a look at one last chart, which is quant. And quite frankly, I put out a quant video a while ago, and I forget the level that I felt most confident in it rehiting. I know I spoke to 100. In that video, I said, which is first, 1,000 or 100? And I said 100. How low did we go on this? we're still sort of in there. What's the low here? Nah, 101. No, we're sort of below there. Let's draw this line. This is 101. 101. Right now we're right on the border. So we've hit the areas I've spoken to. Did we hit? Nick said it would hit 80 bucks again. Well, right now there's certainly a decent likelihood we could hit $80. I'm not ruling that one out. There's an area, so for all those invested in quant and looking to establish a position, I'm going to draw some areas of price confluence for you. We're not going to get too cute here, all right? So I would draw an area right around 83. Okay, that would be an area of price confluence. But let's draw a zone for you guys. I want you guys to have a good idea in terms of a zone of support. Right there. Massive, again, if you want to put in some buy limit orders and you think we're going to get some downside volatility, to me it looks possible that you could see some sort of volatility wick come all the way down here towards 83 to 70. Now, let's look at the fib retracement level from the bottom of our move approximately all the way up to approximately the top. Wow, look at that. The 0.618 is at 79 bucks, so basically $80. To Nick's point, probably pretty sure he came up with part of his estimate there based on that. The 0.786, which he quoted, which is a common fib retracement level, this is all the way down to 59 bucks. I don't think we're going to hit 59. $80 could happen. $70 could happen. So for me personally, if I wanted to put a buy limit order in, I would target between, I would even call it 83. Anywhere between this area here, 83 to 70. And again, if you're looking to establish a buy limit order at 83 bucks, do not put in a buy limit order at $83. Put in a buy limit order at $83.37. $83.33. Front run that psychological flat $83 level. Okay? It's the same thing, guys. If you're looking to sell an asset and you think quant, for example, if you think quant is running all the way up to $1,000, right? If you're going to start to scale out of your investment at $1,000, you should never sell 100% of your position at any single dollar amount. It's one of the most noob things to do. You want to scale out 20% here, 30% here, 10% here. You want to have a plan for that. But if one of your main areas is $1,000 and you're planning on selling 25% of your position, okay, a quarter of your position, do not put in a sell limit order at 1,000. Put in a sell limit order at $98.77 or $97.33 or $99.30. You want to front run that psychological level because, again, keep in mind, if quant does end up hitting 1,000, but it's not really 1,000, maybe on one exchange it hits 1,000. What if on Coinbase it hits it hits $999.99. You literally sold nothing. So you want to front run that psychological level. Guys, this live stream has been going on a little bit longer than anticipated, but that's because I've gotten a lot of engagement here, and I appreciate it. Nick is flooding the comments, which I appreciate, kind sir. I appreciate you showing up to the live stream. I know you're very busy, so I appreciate it. Guys, I will be back tomorrow. I will be back Thursday. I will be back Friday. As always, make sure that you hit the thumbs up to know when I go live, if I go live at an odd time. I'm anticipating tomorrow and Thursday I will be normal time. Friday's one of those days where I do like to live stream at a little bit of a different time, so make sure you click that bell icon to know when I go live. I'll try to put some thought into, especially when we're in a stagnant market like we are right now, I'll put some thought into what would be most value added for us to take a look at tomorrow, so we're not always taking a look at the same charts. It's kind of tough. Coming out here every day, it's kind of tough when things are very stagnant the way they are and things are just kind of blah, to really keep things interesting and keep you guys engaged and keep you informed in terms of what to be looking at. So I'll put some thought into what would be most value added. I hope to see everyone back here tomorrow. If you've appreciated the content, make sure to share this video. Go out on Twitter, share the channel. share it with a friend. Whatever the case is, I'm looking to educate and to help others. Until next time, spread awareness, and let's carry the education forward. Take care, everybody. Good to see everyone. Well, in a virtual sense, good too.